So welcome back to JS Physics. Today's our topic will be magnetic field due to electric current. Let us start now. The magnetic force on a current carrying wire. So in the last lecture we have seen that whenever a charge is kept in the uniform magnetic field, it will experience a force which is given by F is equal to QVB sin theta. The direction of the force also you can find by using a right hand rule. Now today we'll consider the magnetic force on a current carrying wire which is kept in the uniform magnetic field. Now we can take different types of wires. First we'll be taking a straight wire. Let us observe this diagram carefully. Now here we can see that there is one straight conductor. Let us give the name of this conductor as PQ. This is a straight conductor and this is carrying a current I inside it. So current is entering from here and leaving from the other side. So basically you can say in a straight conductor the current is flowing from right to left. The length of the conductor is L, so this is the length of the conductor, and this conductor is kept in the uniform magnetic field of induction B. So this is a magnetic field. Now here we can see this small dots. The dots indicates the magnetic field is coming out of the plane of the paper. That means the direction of this magnetic field will be coming out of the plane of the paper, and the conductor is kept horizontally inside that. That's why you can say that the angle between the magnetic induction and the current carrying conductor is 90 degrees. Now we know the definition of electric current. I is equal to Q by T formula we can write. So I is equal to Q by T. So basically electric current is nothing but the amount of charge passing through a given cross section of the conductor in unit time. So from this I can write Q is equal to IT. Basically when the current is flowing inside the conductor, the charge is moving in the opposite direction if it is electron. So inside this conductor, this is an electron. At one particular instant it is moving to the right hand side because the current is to the left hand side. The direction of flow of current and flow of electrons are always opposite. So let us assume that this electron is moving to the right hand side with some velocity Vd, and that we'll call a drift velocity. The velocity of the electron under the action of electric field is said to be a drift velocity. So drift velocity of the electron here at a particular instant is Vd. Now because electron is a charged particle and it is moving in a magnetic field, it will experience a force which is already we have done that given by F is equal to Q into V cross B. This is a formula for the force acting on a charge which is moving in a magnetic field. Now in this case, let us assume that this electron is covering a distance of L in time t. Then its drift velocity we can write as Vd is equal to L by T. And from that we can place the value of time here. Time is equal to L by Vd. This value of time I can substitute here to write Q is equal to IL by Vd. So here B is a magnetic induction, Vd is a drift velocity, Fm is a magnetic force acting on a current carrying conductor, L is the length of the conductor, and I passing from right to left. Now our interest is to find the force acting on this conductor due to magnetic field when current I passes through it. So the force acting on this conductor we can find by using the formula for force acting on a charge, which is given by F is equal to Q into V cross B. Now in this case the velocity V becomes Vd because it is a drift velocity, and the force, because it is only of magnetic origin, we can write as Fm. So the force acting on this charge is given by Q into Vd cross B. Now we already know that V cross B is nothing but a cross product, and whenever you take a cross product, say for example if I take A cross B, then the value of magnitude of cross product of A cross B is given by AB sin theta. This is known to us, this already we have done. So here in this case Vd cross B becomes Vd into B sin theta. Also n cap, this is nothing but a unit vector which is in the direction of the force. So the Cross product Vd cross B is given by B into Vd sine theta into n cap, where n cap is nothing but a unit vector which is in the direction of the force. Now in this case Vd gets cancelled, and now I can write the force acting on the conductor is given by ILB sine 90 into n cap. Why 90? Because theta is equal to 90 here. As the direction of magnetic induction is outward, the conductor is kept horizontal, the angle between them is 90, and that's why we have placed the value of theta 90 here. So now the force acting on the conductor becomes ILB into n cap. Why? Because the value of sine 90 is known to us. Sine 90 is 1. And that's why this term becomes 1. This term becomes 1. So the force acting on the conductor carrying current in the magnetic field is given by ILB into n cap, where ILB, this term gives the magnitude of the force and n cap gives direction of the force. And that's how force becomes a vector quantity. If B is not perpendicular to the wire, that means the direction of current carrying wire and magnetic field, if they are not perpendicular, in that case theta will not become 90, and in that case we can write the general formula for the force acting on the conductor as F is equal to I into L cross B. So this in magnitude can also be written as F is equal to ILB sine theta. This is the magnitude of the force acting on a conductor carrying current in magnetic field. Again, the same conductor is taken, and this is conductor PQ. Let us say it is carrying the current in the right hand side direction. In this case, value of the current is I. This dot indicate magnetic induction B, which is coming outside from the plane of the paper. We are interested in finding the magnitude and direction of the force acting on this conductor. So already we have derived this formula, F is equal to I into L cross B. The force acting on the conductor carrying current in a magnetic field is given by I into L cross B. Now, the magnitude of the force, as we know, it is given by F is equal to ILB sine theta. And the direction of the force we can find, because force is a vector quantity, it has magnitude as well as direction. So the magnitude is given by ILB sine theta and direction is given by either Fleming's left hand rule or right hand rule. Let us see both the rules one by one. First we'll see the Fleming's left hand rule. So what we have to do? Here we have to take our left hand, and this we have to arrange in such a way that the forefinger, second finger and thumb are mutually perpendicular to each other. Now, if the first finger shows the direction of magnetic field, second finger direction of current, then outstretched thumb gives direction of the force acting on the conductor. So here this first finger will be the direction of magnetic field B, second finger direction of current I, then the outstretched thumb gives direction of the force acting due to magnetic field on the conductor. So this way we can apply Fleming's left hand rule. Let us apply this rule to this particular diagram. In this case, the magnetic induction is coming outside the plane of the paper, so the forefinger will be towards us. Then the second finger will be current, so current is to the right hand side direction. Magnetic field is towards us, then force will be in the downward direction. So this way we can find the direction of magnetic induction. So for this conductor, the force will act in the downward direction, which is given by Fm, that is this way. So we can apply this rule to find out the direction of the force acting on a current carrying conductor placed in a uniform magnetic field B. Another rule is right hand rule. We can apply similar to this a right hand also. Take the right hand, keep your first finger, second finger and thumb mutually perpendicular to each other. Then your forefinger will indicate direction of current, second finger direction of magnetic field, then thumb will give direction of the force acting on the conductor. So in the diagram, we'll see the forefinger indicates direction of current, second finger direction of magnetic field. So this is B, then thumb gives direction of the force acting on the conductor. So we can apply this rule also here, and you'll be surprised to see that the result will be same. So we can arrange the right hand this way. The forefinger in the direction of current, second finger in the direction of magnetic field, then thumb gives direction of the force acting on the conductor. So in both the case, we'll be getting the same direction of the force acting on the conductor. So either you apply left hand rule, Fleming's left hand rule, or right hand rule. Your result will be same. Better remember any one out of the two. Let us move further. Now, in that case, we have taken a conductor which is a straight conductor. Now, suppose the shape of the conductor is any arbitrary. In that case, what we'll do? Let us see. Suppose this is a conductor of length again L and current carrying I. That means the current is entering the conductor from this point, value of I. It moves inside the conductor and finally it returns outside from this particular point. This is the value of current I. We assume that the entire conductor is made up of small element, each of length dl. This is one such element of length dl we have taken here. This is of length dl. This length is dl. Now this conductor is kept in the uniform magnetic field B. So we have shown that by a dot symbol here. Dot indicates the field is coming out of the plane of the paper. So this conductor is kept in the uniform magnetic field B. This indicates uniform field. So magnetic field B is coming out of the plane of the paper. Current is moving in the upward direction like this. We are interested in finding the force acting on the conductor. So for that, we divide the conductor into small parts, each of length dl. Say for example, this is a pen, this is a conductor. I assume that this conductor is made up of small element, each of length dl. So we have divided this conductor into number of small elements, each of length dl. This is one such element of length dl. Aware that I dl is a current element and the direction of dl vector will be the same as that of the current flowing through the conductor. So let us find the force acting on this conductor of length dl due to magnetic induction B, which is normal to the plane of the paper. Now, as the length of the conductor is small, dl, corresponding force is also small. So we call that dFm. A small magnetic force will act on it. So it is given by I into dl cross B, similar to the previous formula which we have derived. And now the total force acting on the entire conductor we can find by integrating this. Now when we integrate, that means we are adding the force due to each small elements, and that's why the total force is given by integration of small force, that is dFm, and that can be written as I into dl cross B. So the force on this conductor is given by I into integration dl cross B. So that is how we can find the force acting on a conductor of arbitrary shape by using such method. Now force on a closed circuit in a magnetic field. Now if I take a closed circuit like this circle, or I can take closed shape like this, and I am interested in finding the force acting on this closed loop in a magnetic field. Let us say this is kept in a uniform magnetic field which is going inside the plane of the paper this way. Cross indicates the field is going inside the plane of the paper. Now we'll divide this entire conductor or loop into small element, each of length dl again. So this is one such element of length dl. This is again another element of length dl, and so on. We can divide the entire conductor into small element of each of length dl. Then the total force will be given by I into dl cross B, and that we have to integrate over a closed circuit. So this is a symbol for integration over a closed loop. So total force we can find by similar formula like this, I into integration over a closed loop dl cross B. Now this term dl cross B will basically give you the direction of the force acting on the conductor. So if you find the forces on each small length dl and add them, then vector sum of all the forces in a closed loop is always zero. That comes out to be zero, because if you take one particular length element somewhere here, another length element somewhere here, then force acting on them will be equal and opposite in both the sides. So if you find the total net force acting on all the elements together, then the value of that force comes out to be zero. And that's why the magnetic force on a closed loop kept in the magnetic field is zero if the field is uniform. So that's it for today, and our next topic will be torque on a current loop. Thank you so much. If you have not seen my previous video, you can refer to the link given in the description.